Hello, hello. Welcome to the podcast where my thoughts disrobe and I get naked with you on life and its lessons. My name's Jessica, and I am your host of Disrobe Thoughts. Hey guys, welcome back. Well, for those of you who have listened before, for those who are new, well, welcome. I don't know, why am I being weird now? It's fine. Um, those of you who are new, this is the vibe of this podcast. I'm kind of weird and awkward sometimes, and it's fine. We're doing great. It's all fine. Um, no, but really, this is the vibe of this podcast. You're just being authentically yourself, and you know what? Sometimes being authentically not mean. I don't want to be authentically mean. Being authentically me occasionally involves me being weird and awkward, and that's okay. So, I'm so tired. I'm so sorry. I meant to say I'm so sorry for yawning, but yes, I'm also so tired. Um, I want to talk today about. I physically spilled my tea, but I wanted to, and my water. Beverages don't stand a chance around me today. Not at all. Watch out. You put a beverage in front of me, I will spill it all over myself, the desk, you, computer, phone, all of it. Um, I I want to talk today, spill the tea in my anxiety. Um and just talk about anxiety, being nervous, freeze mode, was that like the ADHD overwhelm? I kind of lump them in the same category of like anxiety because they all, that ADHD overwhelm. If you guys are familiar with that, um it's basically when you have a task to complete and you have thought about doing it and you're now in freeze mode because the thought of doing it is so overwhelming you can't bring yourself to do it. And so here we are. It then like creates this cycle of like you're mad at yourself because you're not doing anything but that you're supposed to be doing, but you can't do it because you're so overwhelmed and you're so anxious about it. It's just a whole vicious cycle. And that's been my last 2 weeks. I had mentioned on the last episode that I thought about doing a couple of extra um, episodes last week and putting them out. And I'm actually recording a day later than I had intended to today, hence the exhaustion this week. Hence the exhaustion and misspoken words. Because I have been stuck in a loop of ADHD, freeze mode, overwhelm mode, anxiety cycle, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And it's so we sign our lease every year around the same time every year because that's normal when your lease renews. And our landlord comes in, does like a very small inspection where he just makes sure we don't put holes in the wall. And I I've been so busy lately that I have not had the opportunity to really like pick up. I'm just kind of come in like a tornado and come out like a tornado. And so I've been staring at my messy room. I'm staring at my messy desk right now. Staring at my messy room. They say a messy desk is like a sign of a genius, right? Like I just must be really fucking smart. Um and so been staring at my messy room for a while now, like quite some time. But having a reason that you need to clean your room kicks that into gear. Well, except I've just been in a state of overwhelm, freeze mode, anxiety mode. Um, so everyone that's been trying to hang out with me is like, Jess, what are you up to this day? And I'm like, man, sorry, I gotta clean my room. I sound like I'm 12. Like my mommy told me I couldn't hang out with my friends until I cleaned my room, you know what I mean? And but I've said this for like 2 weeks straight. And even today, someone's like, dude, what are you doing after work? And I was like, about to be like, I gotta clean my room. Because do not say you have to clean your room. Because you have used that excuse for the last 2 weeks. And I was like, yeah, but I haven't finished. So it's just, I've been a little bit of a stuck a stuck mode, and that's okay because life happens. And so that brings us to today. I Anxiety is such a funny thing. I know last episode I think I briefly mentioned the um what do you call that movie that came out about the emotions with this time it has anxiety, like teenager emotions, anxiety and uh ennui, boredom, um envy, shit, Inside Out. Inside Out. Inside Out 2. And I won't spoil it for any of you. If you've seen the previews, you already know that those are the emotions that are being featured in this uh second movie. And I highly recommend it, by the way. I love it. I saw some post that was like Inside Out is not just for children, it's for adults too, because the shit that is in this movie is it's just very real shit. It's talking about emotions and how many of us adults are have, spent our life not necessarily knowing all of our emotions or have disassociated from a lot of them, and they're important to learn. So I apologize, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm super yawny. Um, so emotions. Oh, anxiety. Um, the movie does such a great job like depicting anxiety. It's just the perfect job. And I now picture in my brain these emotions at this console and anxiety just losing its fucking shit because it's trying so hard for me to do what I need to do, and then it just cycles. And so, like I'm sitting here, I know I need to clean my room, but like it's just like anxiety is like stuck. Maybe it's not quite the same thing, but it gives me anxiety later. It's connected. And then uh I mean, all the other things that I have anxiety for, seeing that person you just got into an argument with. Like I get massive anxiety right before I go do that. I'm like, "Oh man, we're cool, right? Like are we cool? I don't know." Especially if you didn't like figure out if you're cool or not, or you thought you were cool and then later they posted on their Facebook about how cool they weren't with you. Um and then you're like really hurt by that, and then you see them the next time that causes major anxiety. um Talking to somebody that you like, that's major anxiety. I don't like that. I had a date a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't know I didn't know if I was going to vomit or shit myself. I was so fucking nervous. And I was having like an anxiety attack in the car, which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I meet new people all the time. I'm a bartender. I literally do meet new people for a living. It's just literally my fucking job. And some of them are cute. It's rare, but some of them are cute. And so I should be able to handle that just fine. Although I get anxiety when they're cute. It's heaven forbid. Um anyway, so it was fine. I was very nervous the whole time. Um I have gotten I don't know if you can hear it on the microphone. I was just turbo sniffed by the cute little puppy I live with. She's not a little puppy anymore, but she will always be a little puppy to me. Just walked by. Tip tap, tip tap, tip tap, tip tap, turbo sniff, turbo sniff, turbo sniff. Yep, she's in there. Tip tap, tip tap, tip tap. And so she likes to check on her Aunt Tessie. And I like to check on her. I appreciate it. She's just so cute. So doing this gives me anxiety. At some point in time, I used to get like stress hives. Yeah, that was cool. So I had all sorts of stuff going on with me around that time. So I had pain flare-ups, a lot of pain flare-ups, but I didn't know at the time that they were interconnected with my emotions. Tons of pain flare-ups, hives on daily, on the regular, eczema. I was like, what is happening to me? And I just kind of realized it was like a lot of it was stress and anxiety induced. And it's wild the physical symptoms that your body creates to these emotions that you're having. And um I have a lot of friends. I thankfully don't get very many anxiety attacks, and when I do, they're usually pretty mild. I calm myself down pretty well. There is a lot of there is a lot to be said for meditation and breath work, breath training. And so that's where you just really sit down and you focus on your breath and your breathing. And I'm very fortunate that those moments that I do have anxiety and attacks, like sit in the car before a first date, before you, yeah. And just really like telling yourself, okay, it's going to be okay. Nothing crazy is going to happen. This is one date. You're not being, married off to this person you've, just met. And it's not some 18th century TV show. So, there's all that. And then, like I count my breaths, like breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4. And eventually I elongate my breaths and it's just, here we are. It helps. It's helpful to breathe. So I'm very fortunate. I know I have friends that get full-blown anxiety attacks where they're on the ground. They're like, just everything wants to explode out of them. And like they're physically shaking, they're crying, they like rocking back and forth. Like that's just it's so much. And I'm very grateful that I've not experienced that for that level of anxiety, my own anxiety, for myself. I have experienced it for other people. Being an empath and soaking up other people's emotions, sometimes you get swept up a little bit in that, and that gets crazy. But I'm very, very grateful that I do not generally have that issue, and I'm able to calm myself down pretty quickly and everything like that. But what a roller coaster anxiety is, you guys. I mean, even just thinking about it, it's kind of like an adrenaline rush. Anxiety, adrenaline rush, anxiety rush. It's not exciting for me personally. I think excitement and anxiety are the same chemical reaction in your body and your brain. It's just how you react to it, which is kind of wild. Oh, sorry. And I have to say, the more tired I am, the less nervous or anxiety I get. I give just less fucks. Maybe that's the key to my whole world. Be extremely anxiety. You could be extremely exhausted, but then I won't care about anything, and that's probably not good either, right? Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. What was my whole point into this episode? Just tell you about my journey through it. I've been really working hard on doing new things that do make me anxious and getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. because getting outside your comfort zone means growth, and it means being able to do new things and have fun with things. And um, it's I'm working on doing that. I actually signed myself up for 4 races, 2 in August, 2 5Ks in August, a 10K in September, and a 15K in November. 15K. You guys know how many miles that is? It's a lot of miles. It's like 9.3 miles. Oh, what was I thinking? But I signed myself up and I didn't click the refund button, so I can't change my mind. um, yeah, do the math, people, before you sign up for it. I was telling my sister the other day, I was like, dude, I might as well have just signed up for the freaking half marathon. What's another 3.7 miles? And she's like, it's a lot more miles. And I'm like, it's not that. You're already doing 9.3. What's another 3.7? It's just like, whatever. It's like when you spend a large quantity of money, what's like an extra $100? Like, it's whatever. So, I don't know. At that point, I might as well just do the half marathon. Maybe I will do a half marathon after. I wasn't planning on it. I was planning on ever doing a half marathon. I was like, are you kidding me? Or a marathon. I don't think I still have any desire to do a marathon. Although there was a moment where I was like, ooh, Boston Marathon qualifier. And I was like, I'm not going to do Boston Marathon. Why am I even thinking about this? So anyway, I now have anxiety over all of these races that I've decided to do, and I want to run all of them. I want to run through the whole thing on all of them. And I, 6 years ago, I was going through a very stressful period of my life. Time of my life, not like a menstrual cycle, to be clear. Although my menstrual cycle during that time of my life was also stressful because I didn't have one for a while. My hormones were leveling out and it was a whole thing. I wasn't sleeping. Turns out like hormones play a big part in that. I was up at like all night. I'd fall asleep at like 7 a.m. I was like a vampire. But I didn't suck anyone's blood. It's not something I'm into. And yeah, I would fall asleep at like 7 a.m. But to try to get myself to sleep, I was running like 3 times a day. And so I ran at 5 a.m., 5 or 6 a.m., somewhere in the very early time. And so that when I got home, I'd fall asleep around 7, 8 a.m. if I could sleep, because sometimes I had to work. And then I would, if I worked a double shift and I got a break, I would hit the gym on my break. I'd run 3 more miles and then I would go back to work. And then after work, in an effort to get myself to sleep that night, I would run another 3 miles. And then I'd be awake for several hours. And then that's when I decided to go to the gym in an effort to get myself to sleep in the morning. It was insane. So I was running some days 9 miles a day, just not in one straight shot. And then I moved and I stopped running quite as much. And I went through a big period of a big segment of time. I don't know why I keep thinking menstrual cycles every time I say period. Well, I mean, I do know why but I've said periods before without thinking menstrual cycle every time. So I'm having an issue with this tonight. And you're welcome. This is the weird shit you get. You're welcome for the really weird shit. I am me. This is how my brain works. And so it's been a really long time though since I had moments in time where I went through a lot of chronic pain stuff, and since I've been relatively pain-free, I've had shorter segments of time where I've had pain flares, but nothing super crazy. I have not yet tackled running. The last race I did was the Wings for Life World Run in May, and I didn't train for that or anything. I just was like, I'll run once before and see if I can do it. I did mediocre at best, a couple of blocks, and so then when we ran on race day, I ran for a little while and then I had a pain flare. And so that might be a little bit of a challenge, but it's not anything I haven't done before. But I'm a little bit anxious over all these races I've signed up for because now I gotta train. I have to do it. Which was the point in me signing up for all these races. I'm pretty excited about all of them. So anyway, anxiety is such a funny thing, but it's almost a good thing. Because then when you face your anxiety, when you push through your anxiety, breathe through your anxiety, you move through your comfort zone. And I mean, there are situations that it's just like, I've been in situations where I've been in groups of people where they're all arguing, or there is just a lot of negativity or a lot of bullshit, if you will. And it just gives me anxiety, and I'm like, I can't be here anymore. And those moments aren't necessarily growth moments, but a little bit, because you learn how to move through those moments, right? You learn how to have a tolerance for them, I guess. Or you learn what your tolerance is for them, what your battery is for them, and that you don't want to be a part of it, and that is where your boundary is gonna be. Boundaries. Something I'm new to also recently embracing. And it's, I don't know. I lost my train of thought, which is also a period of growth, because you set a boundary and you learn something about yourself that day. I don't know. Anxiety. I'm really spinning anxiety into being something good, and pretty excited about it. So, all right, guys, I'm going to end this here. I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope it is anxiety free. And if it is not, I hope anxiety just moves through you, because you experience anxiety. You are not anxiety itself. I hope it moves through you and you're able to grow through it, because that's going to be my mantra for quite some time. Doing things that I don't normally do. Well, here we are. Thanks for listening. I hope you all have a great week, and who knows, maybe I'll pop out a couple more episodes here this week. Maybe I won't. You'll find out. I hope you all have a great night. Bye.